Welcome. You have reached the review time with Imperial. Today's review will be Cutthroat City. Let's get into it. So this movie I seen pop up on Netflix. It hit the theaters in August of 2020, but you know the pandemic is going on, so it's probably scarce on what theaters it actually hit. However, it stars leading character Shamik Moore. Character name is Blink, and Demetrius Ship Jr. Character name is Miracle. Kate Graham. Character is Demira. Denzel Whitaker. Character is Andre. Wesley Snipes has a brief cameo as Lawrence, the father of Blink. Terrence Howard plays as a drug lord. He's a cameo. His character name is the Saint. Ti character name is Cousin Bass. Isaiah Washington plays as Sinclair Stewart. He plays as the mortuary person, and Ethan Hawke plays as Jackson Sims, a now politician, used to be in an officer in New Orleans. Tyrone Woodley has a cameo. Character name is Loser. Rob Morgan has a character. His name is Courtney, and that's pretty much the basis of people that's recognizable. The setting is in New Orleans right after Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans, and the devastation and the impact it put on the town, where people were destitute, trying to figure it out, no money. Times was already hard before that, but the Katrina made it harder, and the conspiracies behind that they wanted that the powers that be wanted gentrification, move the levees that broke in impoverished areas, to move those people out. They could come reestablish the land, get more casinos out there and stuff like that. So this is the effects of that, basically the plot of this movie. And so it starts off with Blink, like I said again, played by Shamik Moore. He's getting married to his wife to be Demira, played by Kate Graham, and his boys, they're all in there before the wedding, getting high, talking about life, and it's four of them: Blink, Andre, Miracle, and what's the other friend name? Junior, and just talking about life. And so Blink does have a kid with his wife to be. They get married, and the friend Andre, who's the best man, he's short on words, but he could play not the saxophone, the trumpet, real good. And his dream is to become a jazz player, playing the trumpet, and he hasn't made it yet. They're all part of the struggle. Miracle, played by Demetrius Ship, he's the one that's in the game, trying to hustle, but really not making no real money. And you got Junior. His thing is he's with the fellas, and he's training his dog. Um, he got a Rottweiler, and he's training him to be like a protector and listen to commands and stuff like that. Then you have Blink. Blink is a struggling artist. He could draw real good, trying to land a job, illustrating or getting his book published. But of course, he's confined with the poverty and can't get a break, can't catch a break. So they all bills is piling up, and they all need money. So Katrina hit, things is getting worse. Meanwhile, cousin Bass, who is the cousin of Demira, play cousin Bass. He plays as that's Ti. Blink doesn't want to really fool with him. He don't want to get in that game, but things are getting so vicious. They keep getting denied for everything. FEMA even denied them, so they looking for an out. So they holler at cousin Bass, and right off the back, you see cousin Bass is um, a gangster, and he has his goons and Tyrone Woodley cameo appearance where they're betting on raccoons fighting. And when they're betting on raccoons fighting, Tyrone Woodley didn't have the money, but yeah, he lost and he couldn't pay up because he didn't have the money. But if he'd have won, he'd have wanted their money. So he tried to shake them. So T.I. pretty much, I said T.I., but Cousin pretty much said, I got to show y'all what happens to people who mess with me. So he made Tyrone Woodley get his junk bit by the raccoon or whatever. So he's just letting them know I'm not to be played with. So his heist with them is to go rob a casino, and their goal was to get 100 grand or whatever. Things go right off the back. You see the friend Andre, like, should not be part of it. If you watch a lot of movies, you already knew where this plot was going for the most part. You knew Andre was going to die. He shouldn't have been in there. They shouldn't have had him. He needed money. He was grown man living with his mom, and times is hard. Mom is barely hanging on. She telling him she can't take care of a grown man, and she can't keep doing this. So he's under pressure for money. So that pushes him. That pushes him towards to put action and get involved. But he's shaking the whole time, so you already knew this is gonna go bad. So nevertheless, they go and rob the casino, and right off the bat, they receive fire from cops. And so you automatically think, well, the cops didn't even try to um stand them down enough, and they just came off shooting and trying to kill him. So you know something's off with this scenario. So nevertheless, it just shows Blink arrive home. He's all bloody in his clothes. He takes his clothes off, wraps them up, put them in the closet, and whatchamacallit, another fail. You already know, like, it's just, and maybe they just showing the realities of life, and they could just say, hey, criminals, especially not good criminals, are not as smart as you would think they should be. You think they would be covering all their tracks when they're doing all these things, but they're really not. I think that's what they could basically say, because us watching, you're just sitting there saying, like, dude, you just all bloodied up. You got all this stuff bloodied up, and you pretty much just took it off and just put it in the closet. Like, that's evidence and everything. Nevertheless, it's going back and forth, and then you see him, and he's distraught. Now, all these guys grew up together. He's distraught, and then you show him his girl wake up, and she asks him what's wrong. So he kind of explaining it to her. So it shows them at the morgue where Isaiah Washington's character, Sinclair Stewart, he is there at the mortuary. He's pretty much telling them this is a gunshot wound. And they like, no, it's not. It's a car accident. And then they pretty much told him they'd give him some money if he just make it look like a car accident. And so he was like, nah, y'all gotta give me more than this. And so Miracle pretty much pulled out the gun and was like, we'll blow your head off if you don't, or whatever. Just take the money, and we need to make it look like whatever. And so they didn't want to do that, but they in a situation, and their friend died because of the shootout and everything. So after that, he pretty much tells this girl what happened. Now some of the money got taken when they was in the shootout. So they just had enough money just to pay for the funeral of their friend, and then they pretty much was looking like, what we gonna do? Now Cousin, on the other hand, is like, I need my money. So he's saying in the newspaper that they got away with 150,000, and so they like, nah, they lying with that. He like, well, whatever. Even if they lying, even if y'all still owe me about. They gave him like 25, and he was like, nah, y'all still owe me about 70. And so Cousin pretty much telling them, listen, even if y'all get the money back, I can't just let y'all leave like that. You know it's gonna be a problem. So this time Junior had his dog with him and signaled for his dog to come out. The dog rushed out, attacked cousin. Now they're fighting all of the crew. And so they all point the gun. Cousin got up and shot the dog, killed the dog. And at this point, they should have just killed cousin, but they didn't. Because he's coming after them regardless. So why leave him alive at this point? You already crossed the line. Nevertheless, they on the run. And cousin is now looking for them. The cops is getting suspicious. This is where Ethan Hawke's character pretty much is saying, hey, listen, I used to be a cop. He talks to the detective pretty much like, yo, you need to make sure you solve this case because we got investors. Investors don't want to come where there's crime and everything like that. So you need to solve this case. So the detective is on. She's digging deeper. Meanwhile, you find out that Ethan Hawke's character is linked to the dirty drug business that's going on in New Orleans. And he's one boss, Saint, played by Terrence Howard, is another boss. And you got cousin who's running the street part of it. And, he's becoming a chaos. So there's another guy who's like named Courtney. He's like in between, like he like the middleman between Saint and Ethan Hawke's character. He's like the middleman guy. He goes both sides. Ethan Hawke's character is Jackson Sims, so he's playing both sides in a sense. He's the link between the two, like the mediator. And they asking him why he don't get rid of cousin. He like, man, that's not my problem. So I'll just stay in my lane pretty much. And so the three remaining friends is now robbing all these other places, truck stops, little mini casinos to gather up their money. And they're on a run. Blink dips to the dirty South in a swamp type area. He finds his dad, played by Wesley Snipes, Lawrence, and pretty much he brings him in, basically tells him he needs somewhere to stay. He asks him, is he on a run? Wesley Snipes left him when they was little. He wasn't ready to be a father, and so they had this little moment. But he's telling Blink, you just can't leave your wife like that, because if you leave your wife, another man gonna step in. So you gotta, step up to the platform. So they have that little dialogue right there. Meanwhile, Blink is thinking, he talks to his wife over the phone and pretty much tell her, like, get ready, we gotta make a move. And now he wants to link up with Saint to tell them, basically, he want to pay his way back into New Orleans. He want to get a fresh start. And pretty much Ethan Hawke's character speaks with Demira, because she used to work with somebody who he lost a loved one, and she used to work with them like a caretaker. And she pretty much like saying, my husband in a lot of trouble and I need you to, pull some strings to give him clearance. So he pretty much told the detective, solve the case, the kids are getting manipulated, and leave the kids out of it or whatever. So they found a way by basically killing cousin, T.I.'s character, and Saint killed T.I.'s character, and basically they had this decent dialogue back and forth, and T.I. pretty much, they explaining why people do what they do. People are greedy for money, and Saint saying that they could be friends. It's more on the table, with more money on the table for everybody. It could be one alpha on here. And Cousin's thinking pattern, no, it can't be. It can only be one. So Saint pretty much kills Cousin right then and there in the church or whatever. And so they frame the original casino case on Cousin. So that allows Blink and his homies in the clear. And that detective pretty much told Blink, you know, you got a fresh start. And he was pretty much like, I don't even know where to begin. So she gave him a chip. When she went into his house and found the clothes that were all bloody and everything, she found he had a chip in his clothes, and she gave him that chip back. Pretty much said, "Here, start here." And it was like a 500 or 1,000, something like that. And you're thinking that's the it, but now you see they're back in New Orleans. They still in the same rut that they've been in, and they looking like we still need money. We can't keep living like this. And you got Miracle living out of his car. Blink is home with his wife, and they still struggling. Then you got Junior, don't really saying what's going on with him. So they come up with a solution. Let's rob the FEMA place. Now they got it. When Blink and his wife went to get denied from FEMA, he got a chance to see that it was a armed guard in there, and he's thinking like, well, what is an armed guard doing here at the FEMA place? So they must got money there. So they get this bright idea, we're going to rob the FEMA place. So that's what they do, saying this is our last time. We're going to get this money and we're going to be done with it and go. Now, of course, you know that goes wrong. As soon as they go in there, they're not paying attention, and the guard starts shooting at them, and Miracle comes behind the guard, shoots the guard up, kills the guard, and then right after that, the police showed up. Then it's this big shootout. So you're just thinking like, this wasn't planned at all. This was the worst idea. This is how this movie's going to end. What was the point of the movie? And you starting to looking like, where are we going here? And so all three of them get gunned down. And of course, Blink was the last person to get gunned down. And this is played out on the TV. It shows the girlfriend crying. Now, right after that, it pretty much is the end. It shows the wife take her son to meet the grandfather for the first time. And so you're thinking, well, this is the movie. Then it shows Blink at a book signing for his book. So you like, well, didn't he just get gunned down? So now I guess the writers is trying to leave a like the timeline. It could have went either way. It could have went in a way of they did this last heist, it went bad, they all got killed, or it went the other way. He chose to follow his dreams and he got his book illustrated. So that's pretty much the end of the movie. But then when the credits go up, it comes back on and it shows Ethan Hawke's character, Jackson Sims, and it shows Courtney out at the graveyard, and they're at Andre's burial. And then, you know, Courtney is pretty much saying, hey, no, Jackson Sims, Ethan Hawke's character, is saying, hey, I watched this kid play. He could have been something. And Courtney is pretty much like, hey, man, I ain't here for the sentimental stuff. You know what I mean? You keep that to yourself pretty much. And so out of nowhere, Jackson kills him. And out of the shadows comes Miracle. And pretty much Jackson wiped off his hand off his prints off the gun, told Jack, Miracle, hold the gun. Now Miracle's prints is on the gun that killed Courtney. And now Jackson is saying, okay, now you're the middleman between me, the Saint, and me, or whatever. You're gonna replace Courtney. And Miracle's pretty much, yeah, I'm gonna hold down the Ninth Ward or whatever. But Saint didn't think Miracle has the he can do it, but Jackson thinks he can. So they replaced Courtney, and that's how it ended. And it walks off. Miracle says, "That's for Andre," and then of course Courtney just shows Courtney dead or whatever. So that's how it ended. So overall, a okay movie. The writers, I see the intrigue that they try to go with and try to leave that ending the way it ended, open-ended, or interpret it the way you want to interpret it. Whatever you believe happened. That's what they went for. I just don't know if that was the good way to go about it, because the movie could have went other ways. But it's their movie. So out of my 4-star rating system, I'm gonna give this movie a 1.5 out of 4 stars. I wanted to give it a 2, but I don't like the way they did that ending. The way it ended, it just went left, and it kind of didn't really make sense. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5 out of 4 stars. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Until next time.